Oh, good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming, and I'm truly sorry that it's a delay here. I had no idea about this. So my question tonight was an organizational meeting to see what we can do and what we can't do to try to raise some money for the city, with the nonprofits. And we looked through different cities that are doing different things. I believe we can call it, in our legislation, to our rules of order, you have to have legislation to call a meeting. So I looked at, I had a person help me to look for some cities that have different things like that. The one in New York State is, I believe it's Ithaca, okay? They call it a user fee. But my thinking is, everybody's been talking about this, that we should do something like that. And I just want to know, can we do this?
Or do you want to do this? What we've got in the city is, in the grand scheme of things, we got about 500 million that's put into the wholly exempt category. Of that 500 million, 100 of it is now part of the different IDA things because they're manually handled. So because of that, we have to call them wholly exempt, but they're not truly. They're paying their taxes through an agreement and have to get billed separately.
For a pilot, you're saying,
So it's
right?
pilots and things like that. So that takes you down to 400 million. Now at 400 million, you've got 200 million of New York State, United States, Oneida County, and the city of Utica. And so you have to sit back and say, are you going to be looking at those entities and be doing something with them? Or are they still going to have to pay us a service fee sometime? Then after that, if it's going to be based upon parcels, we have over 1,000 parcels that are in this, but we only have, the government subtotal is 430 parcels, but only 91 have buildings. And of the non-government parcels, there's 600 parcels, but only 247 have buildings. So if you're going to do something based upon a structure, I mean, the rest of it is parking lots and vacant land. So if you're going to do something on structures, if it's 247 structures that are not government oriented, then that's including the university, Mohawk Valley College, Utica College, and who do a lot of their own services on campus. Even if you're going to charge, if you're going to charge per parcel, it's going to be, $1,000 is $287,000. So it comes back to
It's
what
1%.
Hmm?
It's almost 1%. So you're saying that's what you think the top amount is?
No, I can't tell you what the top amount is. I'm trying to give you an idea that we've only got, if it's not government, we've only got, 300 parcels that we can be looking at to generate the revenue from that have buildings on them.
Okay, but what about the other, they don't have buildings, but they're lots, somebody owns those, correct? They
Vacant
have
lots,
to pay
yes.
too?
That's
How many of those are there?
There are in the government side, it's huge. It's about 350 vacant lots.
So explain to me when you say the government side. The government side means we can't get anything from them?
It's like Old Main.
It's again, that's your decision, that you've got to, can you
Give me an example on the government side of a couple buildings.
Social Security building,
Okay.
okay? Post office, okay? United County office.
What about schools, Rich?
And yes, I put schools in there too. School district has 33 lots, but it's only 14 buildings, so you got all the schools in there too.
And we control if we do that, do we have, I don't want to have to go into another executive session. Do we have the right to charge them? Or is that against the law?
That part, you'd have to go into legal with, and whether or not it's going to be serviced or what it's going, how it's going to be called and how it's going to be charged. It's going to be,
It's a municipality and inherently tax exempt, and I'm sure that if you try to go to the federal government, to the state, to the county and say, hey, for each of these buildings, we're gonna charge you X, they're just gonna tell you no.
They're gonna claim home rule. So you're not gonna charge yourself because you gotta pay it. If you go to the state or the county,
Yeah.
they're gonna say, home rule, we got a law that makes us tax exempt. You're a smaller government than us.
so.
All right, you guys got questions? Jack?
No, I think
I mean, it seems,
it's it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing that we have all these public buildings in the city. It makes the people in the city not have to travel to like Clinton or not have to travel to Oneida. But it's a detriment to the taxpayers in the sense that they're loaded up and they're paying for all these other spots, all these streets in the city that have to be plowed, that have to be policed. So it's tough on the citizens of this city, not just the administration, but the citizens of the city, because they're the bearers, unfortunately, of all our taxes.
We don't have enough homeowners, that's the problem. We
Well,
have a lot of
yeah,
people, a lot
and
of people
so,
don't pay taxes, that's the
um,
problem in a nutshell.
I can give you a couple other things too. It's houses of worship. There's 265 parcels, 96 of which have structures on them. And the valuation, the assessed value of those is 30 million. Now, if you did anything based upon assessed value, every house of worship is going to be in here saying, I ain't worth this,
Right.
because they just got you try to sell a church. What are you going to get for it? You ain't going to get the 5 million that got on it for an assessed value right now.
The only thing I could ever see what we could do, and this would have to go to the people, a vote to the people, is do some type of curb,
right, that's,
and where it would have to, they'd have to go to a vote where, for, let's say for the front of their curb, we would charge them so many dollars a curb,
Just
and then,
go across the street in that building.
Kennedy?
The curb on that is about the same as a couple of the larger houses.
but that's fine, but we're also plowing that street along that curb. But this is something that the citizens would have to vote on, because, and then we could take that money and say, okay, every penny we get, we're gonna put into the streets. And that way, the amount of money we're borrowing every year to pay for that, what's it, $5 million extra we borrow every year, that we bond for, that eventually is gonna put the city out of business because we're paying ridiculous interest on it. At least we wouldn't be doing that, and we could at least take that money. But this is something that the city, our taxpayers would have to vote on. I think that would be the only direction that
do
we
you
could go.
agree with him on that? Do you
No.
agree that that's something that could be done?
The way I would look at it, what he's saying is that if you split up the budgets, DPW to be charged at a footage is one thing, but if you're gonna do fire, you're gonna have to look at more like the assessed value or something, because it's gonna be a much,
Well, yeah, that's why I'm talking curb length, and it's gonna be strictly for streets.
Yeah.
No, and I think the people would, they understand the rough condition of our roads right now. I think if anything, we had to get, ask them for any extra money, I think that they would, possibly. And
Well-
I understand,
Well,
not saying
and you
they're
would
gonna wanna
deduct
do
it though,
that.
right? From your
I talked to an assessor in another town, Amsterdam, and they're talking about separating out the DPW and making it a service fee completely and spread it across all parcels by frontage.
So
that
couldn't
becomes
you-
It becomes a service fee from that, but
So for our regular everyday taxpayer is already paying that. So couldn't you say their percentage of taxes, break it down where it would be DPW fee out of what they're already paying now? And then the people, the nonprofits, whoever don't pay anything, they would just have that on a tax bill. That they don't get a tax bill now, they would get one. So the resident who's already paying taxes wouldn't go up, it would just be part of their, you would take the percentage off of their regular tax that they're paying, because they're already paying, basically, they're already paying.
the way they're implementing it, or the way they're discussing to implement it is, they take the DPW completely out of the budget and spread it across all parcels as like a special
So
district.
Joe,
So we would have to, we would because I'm not here to try to raise people's taxes, we would have to lower what they pay in taxes, and they'd make that
you would
up.
have to lower it. What they're saying is, and what Charlie Brown said in his memo, what everybody's
I
saying
didn't
is
see
the-
this memo from Charlie.
the obstacle to this is always that you can't tax people twice for the same thing.
Right,
So if you're gonna raise a fee, like we do with the library fee, like we do in other places, if you're gonna raise some kind of service fee, it has to be for something that's broken out of the regular budget and paid for solely through that fee. Because if you contribute to the general fund, you're taxing people twice.
right. So that's just what I'm saying.
That's why he's saying they pulled out the DPW.
Right, but I'm saying is,
You can do the same with fire and
if
police.
they
but
pay,
it might be
if they
different
pay,
ways.
I don't even know what the percentage of taxes.
Well, it's up to you to
If
set the rate.
If you took it out.
Yeah.
Because you don't want them to pay twice.
But that would be up to you to set the rate.
Right. All right.
Dave Williams, looked at this probably 12, 15 years ago. Ran all kinds of numbers, did this and that, and at the end of the day, it went nowhere.
It's like
What-
$15,000 a year generation.
Yeah, I mean, you were probably here, it was like that.
No, that's what I said.
So then it's, I mean-
That's what I said, if you do a public safety fee, and you use the IDA to negotiate, we did something similar with Utica College. In Utica College, they were responding, they ended up negotiating a fee to be paid to them. That's what you're better off doing, is going to the non-for-profits and saying, hey, listen, this is a public safety fee that we're implementing inside the city. Can you do that? That's your best bet.
Yeah, but when you were in the back, he just talked about, there's not that many that are like that.
You
Most of
said
them are
300.
government buildings,
But they
right?
go by frontage, they go by who responds, what they respond to, what services they're getting.
Yeah, I mean, of the 606 parcels that are in that grouping, still not counting the state and that kind of stuff, MVHS has a huge portion of it. The Sonic Home's only got 3 parcels.
With the square frontage of it all, back when we were
Yes.
implementing it was a problem of where we were getting on how we would
Yeah.
not cripple somebody based on that. That's why the fee more than based on the limit fee was something that I was willing to entertain if we could do something like that, but I think that would be a project separate from the city, maybe more of an IDA or something along those lines.
How about like Utica College and MVCC, where if you did something where they implemented a fee to all the students toward that, like a public safety fee?
Well, they're
like a
gonna.
$50 fee, which is nothing.
So what's their incentive to do it? That's what happened in Ithaca with Cortland.
Utica College is struggling.
Well,
Those
but-
colleges are.
So what happened with Ithaca and Cortland is Ithaca threatened Cortland with a different fee to get them to come to the table on a negotiation. If you have nothing to hold against them, they'd say, why would I pay this?
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's always the quandary.
And don't they already have private security?
Yeah, they have stuff like that, but
Yeah.
they still call us.
The fire is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of, you're saying about lots of buildings, a lot can't burn. There's nothing to police on there, unless, I see the camping out legislation here, but.
Joe, I think we could continue this.
Yeah, we could talk about it
We use the
again.
Yeah.
ISO rating for the fire department.
Everybody's sort of got an idea now.
She's got a good idea.
The ISO rating for the fire department is what saves them a lot of money on their insurance. That's the reason.
And if I
All
can
right,
add.
we're gonna end this meeting. Can I get a second?
Wait, Jack, I want to add one thing, if you don't mind. I have a whole list of all the nonprofits in Utica, and I think it's relevant. Also, the parcels matter, but it's 150 nonprofits. About 40% of them rent, from what I can tell too. So when we're looking at how many people we're going to be hitting for it, it's just, I think, part of the conversation as a whole. That's all. Thank you, Jack. You can adjourn.
All right, well, that's good. And then everybody keeps this in mind, and Joe, I ask you the next meeting, go ahead and bring it up again. We'll schedule it, and then maybe we go home and get some ideas and bring some ideas back. On the pre-conference, you want to have a 5-minute break and then we'll start?
Okay. Yep.
All right, 5 after, be back.
This is-
10 after.
Meeting. If everybody could have a seat, that'd be great. First thing on the agenda is the authorization of a sale of beer and wine to American Legion Post 229. Open for discussion. Any discussion? If not, full council? Good. Discussion closed. Second proposed resolution number 2, authorization sale of beer and wine at the Harbor Point grand opening. Open for discussion. Full council. Discussion closed. Proposed resolution number 3, authorization of sale of beer and wine to St. Anthony and St. Agnes Church. Open for discussion. Full council. Discussion closed. Proposed resolution number 4, authorization of sale of beer and wine to the Utica Zoo. Open for discussion. Full council.
Got a lot of drinking coming up.
If not, discussion closed. Proposed resolution number 5, resolution approving intermural agreement with the Village of Herkimer Police Department for tactical team cooperation. Open for discussion.
I had a couple of questions on that. Now, do all the agencies, do they all pay their own way on this for equipment and everything?
Yes,
Okay, so it's all even.
correct. Yeah, and the reality, Councilman, is that they're probably here more than we would be there. I mean, it helps everybody involved, but if I spend more time in the city than we are spending at the other municipalities.
I'm tracking. Okay, thank you.
We do need it for accreditation as well.
Full council?
I just had
You go
a
with that.
quick
Joe, do you have a
question.
question?
Yeah, so are these 5 or 6 year contracts?
I
Fine.
don't know.
I think as written, I think the memo we got, it said 5, but I think as written, January 1 of 25 to December 31st of 2030 is 6 years. Just clarification on that for what it's worth from court counsel.
I defer to Stephanie.
Yeah. And that goes for 5, 6, and 8. So if we just get an answer, just to make sure we're
Joe,
passing.
switch it to today's date.
No, the 2029 one, is that right?
Well, I don't know. Whatever the agreement says, that's the point.
So it should be 5-year. If the date's off, can we correct it? Because we do need it.
Well, whatever's in the contract, we'll match it up. That's all.
Perfect,
Yeah.
yeah. Thanks.
Any other discussion? If not, discussion closed. Go on to proposed resolution number 6, resolution approving intramural agreement with Madison County for police tactical team cooperation. Same thing, right?
Correct, yeah.
Any other discussion? If not, discussion closed. Now we'll go on to proposed resolution number 7. It's authorizing sale of beer and wine to the Forest Hill Cemetery Preservation Foundation. Full council? Any other discussion? If not, discussion closed. Proposition number 8, resolution approving intermural agreement with the city of Syracuse for police. I assume it's the same?
It is. So all these villages, counties, cities, we have agreements with for, it's for SWAT. Our SWAT teams work together and act, you know, by you approving these, we can act there and they can come here and assist us.
Okay, very good. Full council?
Yeah.
Any other discussion? If not, discussion closed. Motion to adjourn. Very good. Quick and easy.
Well, that was easy.
This meeting will come to order. The city clerk will call the roll.
Aiello, Burmaster, Bitar, Carcone, Irvin, Beatrice, Williamson, Colosimo Testo, Lemetico, Giruzzi, all present.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for the deceased members of the Common Council. Is there a motion and a second to dispense the reading of minutes from the previous meeting?
Thank you.
Public comment period allows 3 minutes per speaker. Our first speaker is Tom Allard. Francis Brown. Francis, Common Council has provided you a copy of Section 32444 Public Comment Period. Are you in agreement?
Yes, sir.
Please state your name.
Francis Brown.
Thank you.
Jimmy Diaz, the owner of Havana Cigars, keeps illegally parking in front of his shop at 724 Barrack Street. Just because he's the investigator for the Public Defender's Office does not make him above the law. Police will not ticket him because that is one of their hangout after-hour spots. What is real sad to the citizens of Utica is that he does this in front of the street cameras that cost the taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars. Again, Utica needs to enforce the vehicle traffic laws they already had before they add new ones like paid parking. I do not drive due to my fear of driving, but I seem to know the vehicle traffic laws better than Utica Police Department. On Elizabeth and Genesee Street next to Adirondack Bank, the same 3 vehicles are in a no parking zone just about each time I go by there. This causes traffic problems, including the central bus that needs to turn to return to the hub. I do use the bus services, so I've seen it firsthand. I have emailed the compter several times with no reply. More corruption within the Utica Code's enforcement, including conspiracy with my landlord to make it look like I'm the bad guy when Reverend Ivan Cortez is the bad landlord that will not make the repairs. When I win this retaliation hearing with the video evidence I have, my next move is to expose Marcus Phillips, the commissioner, like his uncle that was selling drugs out of the citizens of Utica's Code Department's
Francis,
vehicle.
you can't do that. You can't talk
Yes.
about city officials.
This is
No,
the truth, though.
It
This
doesn't
is
matter.
not
You
talking
can't do
trash.
it.
Okay, Mr. Cortez lied about stopping him from doing outside work. 1, I recorded the whole thing. 2, it was a Saturday of Easter weekend. You would think that a reverend would respect the religious holiday. 3, and the easiest to prove, it was raining. He only came that day to harass me and to cause me serious alarm. Again, Utica Police Department will not press charges. If Utica Police Department thinks they can lock me up to shut me up they are mistaken. If I am incarcerated on some trumped up charge, I will have more time for the pen. Fear the pen. It is mightier than the sword. I again call out to the citizens of Utica
Please finish
to
up, Francis.
speak out. Do not be afraid. See something, say something. Again, my name is Francis Brown. My email is very simple, francisbrown13501@gmail.com. I will not hide. I will continue to speak out as my right as an American citizen born here in Utica, New York. Thank you.
Our next speaker, Jess Nasser. Hi, Jess. Common Council has provided you a copy of Section 3244, Public Comment Period. Are you in agreement?
Yes.
Please state your name.
Jess Nasser.
Thank you, Jess.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here to give you an update about the Woodhaven bus problem that we're having. My husband came here last month to give you an introduction about the concerns that we're having on the road. First of all, I'd like to say thank you so much for getting us the signs for the 15-mile-per-hour signs on the road. We have seen some improvements with the buses not going as fast as it used to. On the weekends, it does tend to be a little bit quicker, but we are monitoring that and giving updates if we need to call that in. I also wanted to say thank you to Miguel. He is from the DPW sign department, and he provided an autism sign, and I really appreciated that it was student or disability friendly, which was really nice to see. This is a concern for us because my 4-year-old daughter, we are constantly outside. We're trying to teach her to ride a bike, and it's just been such a concern for her safety of how fast these buses are coming down the road. My husband, he did receive an email from the mayor's secretary regarding Centro, and they set up a meeting, and they are looking further into that. We're just hoping that there can be some sort of a shift with the route, or even better, entirely remove it in the location where we live. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen.
Thank you, Jess. We do have a public hearing. It is now open. Is there anyone here to speak? It's about the ordinance amending Section 229-315 of the Utica City Code of Ordinance. Nobody's here, so public hearing is now closed. Be it ordained that Section 229-315 entitled Consult and Review of the Code of Ordinances amended to read as follows. The Commissioner of Codes, the Stormwater Management Officer, and the city's public safety departments prior to the issuance of final approval of any site plan review application. In addition, the board may consult with the Department of Public Works. Votes, please.
Nine yeas adopted.
We do have a guest speaker tonight, board member Alicia Pensulo. Hopefully will be in to speak about the 75th anniversary of Forest Hill Cemetery. Alicia?
Is this okay to move? All right. Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. For those I haven't had the pleasure to meet before, my name is Alicia Pendasulo. Some of you might know me from my volunteer work at Oneida County History Center or my writing in Greater Utica Magazine, or maybe the new Oneida County Tourism Destination Guide. But through research, writing, and preservation, I've always believed in history's power to shape our identity and strengthen community. That belief is what brings me here tonight. I'm here as a volunteer representing the Forest Hill Cemetery Preservation Foundation, a nonprofit working to protect and preserve one of Utica's most historic and beautiful landmarks. This year marks Forest Hill's 175th anniversary, and we're celebrating with a series of events. Tonight, I'm here to share a few of the highlights, and there will be more to come. Before I continue, I'd like to take a moment to thank a few of you personally. Councilwoman Katie Aiello, thank you for your ongoing support of local history and preservation. We met when you came to help clean up the Proctor Memorial Building. You helped rake and pick up trash, and hands-on care like that truly matters. Joe Bitar, although we only met tonight, I'm looking forward to connecting with you more. Forest Hill is in your district, so I imagine we'll be seeing you around. Councilman Joe Beatrice, thank you for always being so kind to me. Ward 6 is very close to my heart, and I've admired your work restoring the Weaver family cemetery for the past 3 years. Councilman Mark Williamson, we owe you a special thank you for your work with the ROTC students at Proctor. We had our first event, our Being Human Festival. It was one of just 16 events selected nationwide for the National Humanities Center. And the ROTC came out in the rain and helped organize our traffic and make sure everything was smooth and safe, so thank you. And finally, thank you, Sam, for inviting me here to speak tonight. On June 14th of 1850, Forest Hill Cemetery was officially dedicated. That means this June marks exactly 175 years. On that day in 1850, the city came together in unity and reverence. Guests included over 200 members of the Oneida and Onondaga nations. It was a moment of civic pride and shared purpose. We are working to bring that spirit back to life. To mark the occasion, we'll be hosting a 175th anniversary gathering on Saturday, June 14th from 4 to 8. The event will be open to the public and will feature storytelling, guided tours, and historical displays. We hope it will offer a meaningful way for the community to come together, reflect on our shared history, and celebrate this milestone. In recognition of this historic event, we would also like to formally request a resolution from the Common Council acknowledging Forest Hill Cemetery's 175th year of continuous service to the people of Utica. All donations made at our 175th anniversary events will honor the past and support the future. Specifically, they will help fund the restoration of Child's Chapel, the architectural heart of our cemetery. Built in 1868 by Roxana Childs in memory of her husband Silas D. Childs, an abolitionist, businessman, and civic leader, the chapel was a gift to the people of Utica. Funeral services held there were and still are free of charge to all, regardless of wealth or status. Inside, you'll find a marble tablet that reads, "This tablet is here placed and inscribed by the Utica Cemetery Association in grateful remembrance of the bounty of Mrs. Roxana Parker Childs, who gave this chapel in memory of her deceased husband, Silas Dickens Child." In the same spirit that prompted his generous bequest of a perpetual fund for the graves of the poor interred in this cemetery, she devoted this, her gift, in free and common use forever. This wasn't just a building. It was a message about equality, remembrance, and public service. But after more than 150 years, this Gothic Revival landmark is in urgent need of repair. While we have secured a major grant, we still need to raise an additional $150,000 to complete restoration. What many people don't realize is that nonprofit cemeteries like Forest Hill, classified under New York state law as a 501c13 organization, face strict financial constraints. Most of their funds must be held in permanent maintenance accounts. This means they cannot easily fund education, restoration, or outreach. They also don't qualify for many grants available to other nonprofits. That's why the Forest Hill Cemetery Preservation Foundation was established. It is a separate 501c3 nonprofit that can apply for grants, accept tax-deductible donations, and raise the funds needed to preserve this space. Forest Hill is more than a cemetery. It's a museum of Utica's past. It holds the stories of Vice President James S. Sherman, Governor Horatio Seymour, Senator Roscoe Conkling, Treasurer Ellis H. Roberts, and Medal of Honor recipient Charles F. Cleveland, and so many others. Artists, inventors, athletes, philanthropists, everyday citizens, people who helped shape this city. And if you don't want to wait until June to explore that history, we have another event coming up sooner. On Sunday, May 18th from 10 to 2, we'll be hosting a family-friendly scavenger hunt in honor of International Museum Day. All you need is your curiosity, a smartphone, and to follow our clues to discover the rich stories scattered throughout our outdoor museum. But it's not just our past we're working to preserve. We're also looking toward the future of our landscape. Since the mid-1800s, Forest Hill has been home to an extraordinary variety of trees, many of which were part of the original landscape design. Among the most striking are the majestic pin oaks that line the curved carriage path between sections 20 and 25, and the grove of white pines in section 27, planted in the 30s by the CCC, Civilian Conservation Corps. This year, we're working with Brian Judicki from MVCC to complete a full tree inventory. With help from interns and a certified arborist, we're mapping and assessing each tree's species and health. We'll also generate a full iTree eco report, and that will measure the environmental benefits such as carbon storage and air pollution removal. The exciting news is that that project puts us on track to become a level 1 arboretum, which would make Forest Hill the first arboretum in Utica. The nearest one is currently Hamilton College in Clinton, and we believe it's time that Utica had one too. So tonight, I ask for your support, not just as a council member, but as leaders and stewards of this city's future. Join us for our events, share our story, encourage constituents to come, consider a donation. Every gesture helps us preserve a place that's really meant for all of us. Thank you so much for your time. I really hope we see you there.
Thank you. There is no communication from the mayor. Report of city officers. We'll start with city engineer, Nick Reidenbecker.
Nothing to report.
Thank you, Nick. Fire Chief Angersall.
No report.
Commissioner of Codes, Marcus Phillips.
Yeah, I wanted to use this time to recognize some people. So I went up to North Utica with Councilman Beatrice, Legislator, Chief of Staff Gentile, Sergeant Schultz, and we were boarding houses. We got squatters in houses all over the place. They scare people, running in and out of backyards. So part of what you got to do is board and secure a house. We're boarding houses, and everybody's professional. Police are helping us make sure there's nobody in the house, so we're not boarding anybody inside. And I didn't expect to find what I found, so the guy with the boards wasn't with us, because usually it takes us time, 48 hours, 24 hours to get a house boarded. I called him, it was his day off, and he came in on his day off with a saw in the back of his truck and made sure that the houses were safe. And so I just thought it was a good story, and it's a way for the public to understand, like, a lot of people who work for the city really care about the city. So his name is Sanad
Bajramovic.
All right. So good job, Sanad.
Thank you, Marcus.
That's it.
Budget Director, Elmer Kaltak.
I talked to our bond council. They're going to have their capital project bond coming next council meeting, as well as a bond for Harbor Point, 2 bonds for Harbor Point, 1 for the sewer department. So just be on the lookout for that.
Thank you. DPW Commissioner, Mark Sokolowski.
Yeah, I'd just like to acknowledge my crew last night for the flooding that we dealt with. My sewer department, my street guys, we went out there, we took care of what we could take care of, and hopefully everybody was satisfied with what we did, and I acknowledge what they did last night.
Thank you. Chief Gentile?
Yeah, I'll just mention, beyond the DPW, I know the police department, fire department, a lot of city officials, random phone calls, everybody was kind of on high alert, got eyes on, we know our trouble spots, so we get eyes on, all those areas, and, real fast response time on those things. And, just know, obviously, we've had a lot of water, a lot of rain, and it doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon for a consistent period. So obviously do your part. If you have a sewer grate close to your home and stuff like that, make sure you're keeping those clear. But also, if you see something in maybe an area that's not a traditional flood area or a traditional flood area, make sure you're reporting it. The best thing to do in real time is 911. But if it's something that isn't an emergency but is a next day thing, obviously make sure you're reaching out to the mayor's office, and we'll get that to the appropriate place. And then, hopefully sun comes out and we'll start enjoying some of the springtime and a lot of the stuff. We've got a lot of events coming up, so I encourage people to get out there and enjoy the things Utica has to offer. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Noonan?
Yeah, not to make Mark sound any bigger, but I was working last night and I was driving around, and I was impressed how fast his people responded and alleviated a lot of the flooding situations. It was pretty bad for a little while, and they were out there doing a nice job. I also like to recognize our officers. They made an arrest of the individual who was involved in cuttings both in North Utica and Bleecker Street, and then the Amazon warehouse out in Frankfurt. They worked hard to solve those cases and did a nice job. And lastly, I worked at Forest Hill Cemetery all through high school and college. It's really a pretty cool place if you get a chance to go up there and check it out. And during the presentation, I got a text requesting that if possible, you could plant a fig tree up there. I don't, so, maybe consider that, all right. Okay.
Will you make a donation for them to
I'll
purchase
buy the
the
fig
fig tree?
tree if you plant the fig tree. Okay.
Wow,
All right.
there you go.
You know what, he ain't going in the wall.
Hopefully they're not expensive. I don't know.
My second career after I leave this career, I want to go back and mow lawns again up there.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Noon of the Fire Department?
Well, I'll say nothing at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Brian Thomas, Urban Renewal?
No report.
Thank you. There's no cash report, petitions, remonstrances, and appeals. First District Council Member, Katie Al.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm all set.
Thank you. Second District Council Member and Majority Leader, Robert Burmaster.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to mention next week, down at 5 Points, we have the West Utica Neighbor Association at 6 o'clock. It's a good time. Come on down. And to Councilman Williamson, happy birthday tomorrow. Enjoy your day. Happy birthday tomorrow. Thank you,
Birthday, Master Chief.
40?
Third District Council Member and President Pro Tem, Joseph Bitar.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just briefly, thanks, Alicia, for coming in. You know, in 2024, the council passed a proclamation in support of that grant application, so it's nice to hear that the application was granted. And apart from the resolution that you mentioned, please let the council know how else we could be of assistance throughout the process and what we can do to help the cause. Other than that, Mr. President, I'm all set. Thank you.
Thank you. Fourth District Council Member, Frank Carcone. Fifth District Council Member, Venice Irvin.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. District 5, the Cornhill Neighborhood Meeting will be on May 13th at the Rebuild the Village site on James Street. Starts at 6 o'clock. And I was glad to see the cemetery getting that information out tonight. I hear it at my church at St. Matthew's Temple all the time. But I have a lot of family up in that cemetery, so it's dear to me that it does get cleaned up and repaired. Thank you.
Thank you. Sixth District Council Member, Joseph Beatrice.
Thanks, Mr. President. I want to thank all the department heads. The last couple of weeks, I've probably dealt with each one of you at a certain time, and thanks for always taking my call and being there and getting stuff done right away. And last thing is, North Utica meeting coming up will be on 5/19. It's a week early this year because of Memorial Day. Myself and Legislator Gentile will be there 5:30 to 6:30, and our regular meeting is 6:30 to 8 o'clock. We have a guest, I guess I'm reading it here, guest speaker is going to be the Youth Bureau Director, Chet LeConte, will be discussing the summer youth programs, and Howard Potter will be discussing school board finance, among other issues. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Member at Large and Minority Leader,
Oh, happy
Mark
birthday.
Williamson.
I have nothing to pass, thank you.
Thank you. Council Member at Large, Samantha Colissimo Testa.
Thank you, Mr. President. I first want to thank Alicia for coming in tonight. I think it's very informative in the work that they're doing there. I think we can get Eddie Noonan to come mow lawns for you sooner than that, than retirement, unless he plans on
Well,
retirement.
we have his
tomorrow.
son.
Oh, yeah, his son
Liam
too.
does a great job.
Since we're wishing happy birthdays, our fine gentleman who's the head of DPW now celebrated a birthday, and I just want to wish Mark Sokolowski a happy birthday. So can't forget him. He does a lot for the city, and we always appreciate all his hard work.
Thank you. Council Member at Large, Jack LaMedico.
Thank you, Mr. President. Alicia, I grow fig trees. So, I have a 10-foot fig tree at my house. So I would love to donate the money to buy you a fig tree. You just pick it up and I'll buy it.
That's the most random flex ever.
But it's gotta be big enough or the deer are gonna eat it.
Is that a compliment?
So, anyways, you let me know. Yeah, you let me know. I'll give you my card later, and I would love to donate that.
You have a lot of fig trees up there.
And happy birthdays to the Marks.
Jack Miyagi over here.
And come over you can see my tree anytime if you like. All right, God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Member. Can I have a motion and a second to introduce proposed resolution number 1?
Motion?
Second?
Thank you.
Okay. Authorizing sale of beer and wine to American Legion Post 229. Sponsor American Legion Post 229. Event, 4th Annual Parking Lot Party. Event, Saturday, June 21st, 2025, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. at American Legion Post, 409 Herkimer Road, Utica, New York, 13502. Votes, please.
Nine yeas adopted.
Can I have a motion and a second to introduce proposed resolution number 2?
Motion?
Yep. Authorizing sale of beer and wine at the Harbor Point grand opening. Greater Utica Chamber of Commerce, FX Matt Brewery, Harbor Point grand opening, Thursday, June 5th, 2025, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., Utica Harbor. Votes, please.
Nine yeas adopted.
Can I have a motion and a second to introduce proposed resolution number 3?
Motion?
Authorizing sale and beer and wine to St. Anthony and St. Agnes Church. St. Anthony and St. Agnes Church, St. Anthony Festival, Friday, June 6th, from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., Saturday, June 7th, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., Sunday, June 8th, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., 422 Tilden Ave, Utica, 13501. Votes, please.
Nine yeas adopted.
Can I have a motion and a second to introduce proposed resolution number 4?
Motion?
Thank you.
Thank you. Authorizing sale of beer and wine to the Utica Zoo. The Utica Zoo, Wine in the Wilderness, Saturday, June 7th, 2025, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., 1 Utica Zoo Way, Utica, 13501. Votes, please.
Nine yeas adopted.
Can I have a motion and a second to introduce proposed resolution number 5? Resolution approving intermunicipal agreement with the Village of Herkimer for police tactical team cooperation. Both the Village of Herkimer and the City of Utica hereto have experienced within their jurisdictions a potential need for the joint response of both participants, police tactical teams, and K-9 teams to deal with certain criminal acts or threats, including but not limited to barricade suspects, hostage takers, or other persons committing violent acts that may be more effectively dealt with through the use of specially trained tactical team rather than standard police. Be it resolved, Common Council of the City of Utica hereby authorizes and approves the acceptance of the proposed intermunicipal agreement. Further resolved that the mayor is authorized to execute this agreement and any other documents. Votes, please.
Mr. President, if I may briefly.
What's that?
If I may briefly, in the pre-meeting conference, we were seeing whether this was a 5 or 6 year contract, just so we could match the actual contract to the resolution. I don't know if the mayor's chief of staff might have that information.
It's a 5-year, yeah.
The letter.
So do we? Yeah. So all right. So
Make a motion to amend.
is it through 2029?
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So yeah, move to amend the last or the second to last be it resolved paragraph to read January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2029.
Is there a second?
Second.
Your votes on the amendment. Nine yeas amended.
Thank you.
Need your votes.
Yep. Votes, please.
Nine yeas adopted.
Can I have a motion to introduce proposed resolution number 6?
Thank you.
And, Mr. President, motion to amend the date for January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2029.
Second. Your votes
Votes,
to amend.
please, to amend.
Nine yeas amended.
Resolution approving intermunicipal agreement with Madison County for police tactical team cooperation. Be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Utica hereby authorizes and approves a subtext of the proposed intermunicipal agreement in the same form as attached hereto for the term of January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2030. Votes, please.
9 yeas adopted.
Can I have a motion and a second to introduce proposed resolution number 7?
Motion, second.
Thank you. Authorizing sale of beer and wine to the Forest Hill Cemetery Preservation Foundation, Forest Hill Cemetery Preservation Foundation 175th Anniversary Celebration, Saturday, June 14th, 2025, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., 2201 Oneida Street, Utica, 13501. Votes, please.
9 yeas adopted.
We have a motion and a second to introduce proposed resolution number 8.
Motion.
Thank you.
Resolution approving intermunicipal agreement with the city of Syracuse for police cooperation.
Motion to amend 2030 to say 2029.
Thank you. Thank you. Your votes on the amendment? 9 yeas amended.
Okay, your votes, please.
9 yeas adopted.
Yeah. Anything coming out of committee?
Yeah, I'd like to propose ordinance number 1 pulled from committee.
What was that, Robert? Number 1?
Proposed ordinance number 1 dated 4/2/25. I'd like to make a motion.
Sorry, second. My mic is off.
Is it the last? Okay, a motion and a second to introduce proposed ordinance number 1. We got ordinance amending composition of the Bureau of Fire, be it ordained 2-2168 of the Utica City Code regarding the fire department composition is hereby amended to read as follows. The sworn personnel strength and composition of the Bureau of Fire of the Department of Public Safety should consist of the following members and ranks. Fire Chief 1, Assistant Fire Chief 0, Chief Fire Marshal 1, Assistant Maintenance Superintendent 1, Deputy Fire Chiefs 4, Fire Captains 8, Fire Marshals 2, Fire Lieutenants 26, Firefighters, Paramedic, and Firefighter EMT 89, total 132. The Commissioner of Public Safety shall continue to assign personnel in the numbers and the ranks deemed necessary to the divisions and assignments within the Bureau of Fire as may be created, all in accordance with law. Be it further ordained that this ordinance should take effect immediately.
Mr. President, I'd just like to clarify for the floor that we did have a meeting on Monday, and I still haven't had a discussion with the chief or assistant chief on this. I don't know why we're pulling it out of committee. They didn't show up to the meeting on Monday, so my recommendation would be to keep it in committee to have further discussion on it. And this is a recommendation. We're still taking a vote to pull it out on the floor.
So is that an opposing, and we're gonna vote for the vote?
Vote to either take it to the floor or keep it in committee.
Let's vote to.
Pull it out. So
A no vote's to keep it in committee.
Oh, so,
Can we reset it?
yeah. So a no vote will keep it in committee. Votes,
Yeah,
please.
yes vote
A
will
no
take it out
vote
of
will
committee
keep
to
it in
vote on
committee.
It's 5-4.
Motion
So,
to.
motion to pull out.
Now our votes to.
Now your vote's on it, so you read the whole thing?
Yes, I read it, so your votes, Council members.
So it'll be a no vote to bring it down, right?
Yes.
So no will defeat it.
A no vote will get rid of this.
Right, so five no's will be defeated.
All right.
I'll clear the board again. Your vote. 6 defeated.
7.
It's not.
Seven?
Yeah, this is not lit up, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yep.
so 7-2. Anything else coming out of the committee?
Mr. President, I'd like to actually pull the resolution for support of the Utica Fire Department complement out of committee. That's number 5. Well, you actually might as well discharge it, because I think it was a slap in the face of the entire fire department, to not even discuss it any further. I'd like to dismiss number 5, proposed resolution number 5, the support of the UFD complement.
And can we also do that with proposed resolution 5 for the bond resolution and the 21 for the sewer rents? To discharge all 3 of these?
So number 5,
Five.
21.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll
there's
second it.
Anticipation, thank you.
We got a second? My second.
Five to 21.
Is there any opposed to that, or no?
Motion to adjourn.